Hi, I'm Alyssa Dizon with HackCville Media, and today we're sitting down with Adam Healey and Yunzhe Zhou of Borrowed Blue. Adam started Borrowed Blue with his wife Kristen, aiming to make it easy for brides to imagine, plan, and share their dream weddings. Yunzhe is a third year at UVA who interned with Borrowed Blue this past summer. We talked with both of them about what it's like working for a small startup right here in Charlottesville. So, my first question for you, Adam, is so it seems like entrepreneurs are a little all over the map when it comes to starting businesses. So you were double who, you went into management consulting, you did a digital media e-services firm, and you were CEO for a hotel search engine before starting an online wedding concierge. Seems a little disjointed for a background. So how was the transition between all of these ventures, and what do you foresee the next big thing being?
Oof, in 30 seconds or less, right? Well, I think, so I graduated in McIntyre in 1997 and went to work on Wall Street for about a year, and I hated it. So I quickly packed my bags and moved to Prague in the Czech Republic, and about 6 months later had started my first major internet business called Samba Digital Media, that e-service firm that you referred to. And that project was about 5 years long. We grew the company to about 50 employees, raised venture capital, but our timing was not wonderful. So we suffered from the burst of the internet bubble, the first in 2000. So it was a great learning experience. Spent a year in Thailand, scuba diving to recover and recharge the batteries, and then came back to attend Darden Business School here in Charlottesville again. And a year after graduating at Darden, I was starting my second major venture, which was Hotelicopter, with a classmate from Darden and Charles Seilheimer. And we built that business over 5 years to be one of the major players in the online hotel search space. We sold that business in 2011, at the end of 2011, successfully sold that business. And around the same time, my wife and I were getting married, planning our wedding in 2011, and then we got married on September 10th in 2011, and starting to think about my next gig, basically, and decided that it would be fun to do something together. So that's really led to the wedding space. We thought we saw a need in the wedding space for a superior online experience to create what we would have wanted, and so that we created it, hopefully.
So you just kind of go where the wind takes you.
Yeah, I would say what the school of effectual entrepreneurship says. You think about who you are, what you know, and who you know, and you take those ingredients to form a business venture. And at the time, I felt like I had some understanding of online building websites, and then combine that with the fact that we had just gone through the wedding planning process, and we knew a lot of friends in Charlottesville that were wedding vendors. Those were sort of the three ingredients that went into deciding to start Borrowed Blue.
How does Borrowed Blue make money?
Good question.
It's such a good business model. It's so simple, and so how does it create value?
It's a simple business. We charge wedding vendors monthly or annual subscription to enhance their exposure and to promote their business to our audience of brides who are planning their wedding in one of our now 42 markets.
Insane.
Yeah, and those subscriptions run from anywhere from $30 to $500 a month.
Gotcha.
And so it's nice from our perspective that we can build a relationship with those vendors over time, and then introduce them to brides as they're planning their wedding.
And I feel like you're kind of in uncharted space. Like this is sort of like a non-traditional way to do things. And speaking of non-traditional, Yunzhe, why is picking an untraditional startup internship advantageous for students? How is that more attractive than, say, getting on your resume or for your professional development, joining a traditional 9-to-5, well-established firm?
Working at a startup, it definitely is, non-traditional. It's a really unique experience, and it makes you stand out from the crowd. But I think it's more than just, like what's on your resume, the prestige, the salary, the people you meet, and the work you do is just incredible. And you can't really get that anywhere else, when you're working at a startup. For my personal experience at Borrowed and Blue, I've learned so much from the type of work I was doing, from the people I was with, and at a big company, you can't really kind of like define your role. I mean, you take on so many hats, in a startup, and you are given tons of responsibility and tons of roles, and just with as long as you have the initiative, you can really make the best out of your internship. And when you're working at a startup, you're part of their culture, you're part of their growth, you're part of their story. And in a lot of ways, you're like part of their family.
Oh.
A lot of students kind of want to start businesses with their friends because kind of the same thing makes them tick and they want to work together. And I know you started this business with your wife. So how is that? And do you think it's a good idea for people to start businesses and go into ventures with people with whom they have a personal relationship with, whether that's friends or significant others?
Sure. Well, I think that's a fantastic question, and I think there's as many answers to that question as there probably are individuals on the planet. It has to do with the people that are specifically in the making the decision. For us, for my wife and I, we really enjoy each other's company, and now, we certainly spend a lot of time together. And I think that it has some real benefits, and there are also challenges that we face. I think that there were some challenges, some growing pains in the early days, but I think that we've really become, it's almost strengthened our marriage in a lot of ways. However, that being said, I wouldn't say across the board. I recommend to everybody that they should do it. So the second part of your question with friends. There are a lot of examples of very successful startups, Facebook, et cetera, that have been founded by friends that have flourished, and there's probably just as many or more sort of horror stories. So I think the key would be make sure that everyone's on the same page in terms of expectations going into the relationship. Make sure there's even maybe a document, a founding document that stipulates what the rules and the roles and the responsibilities are, so that everyone has a very transparent view of how the relationship is going to succeed, and potentially that there's an easy way to get out of it if it's not successful.
I don't think you guys have an easy way out of it.
Now with us, we have a 100% commitment. We're in it to win it, as they say, and it's working out really well, actually.
And Yunzhe, how did you get this opportunity? And what sort of advice would you have for other students who are looking to break into the startup industry?
So I met Adam at HackCville. Well, HackCville is a great place to start. It was organized by EG, so it was like a startup meetup. I got it through email, filled out the application, looked up Adam online, and I knew that he was it. Like, I wanted to work for him. And it turns out that, we had connections, so we both knew Professor Sayers, who is in Darden, who I worked for first year summer. So just, if you're interested in startups or the entrepreneurship field, join HackCville, join EG, be involved in those kind of clubs, and just go out there and meet people, go to these events. And Charlottesville is really cool that everybody knows each other, so it's really interconnected, and you're bound to run into someone who knows someone that you know, or someone that can introduce you to someone else.
So you just kind of do it.
Yeah, you just go out there and do it and go for it.
Yeah. And so, Adam, do you wish you had worked in startups from the get-go? Were you in startups in college? And if not, do you wish that you kind of...
I was not, and I wish that we had the resources that you guys are creating, really, back when I was an undergrad here at UVA. Go Who's. But the HackCville, even the entrepreneurship track at McIntyre is a relatively new phenomenon. So I did do a startup when I was between my first and second years. I ran a small student painting business. That was about my exposure to entrepreneurship at that age, and really enjoyed it. But I didn't have the sense of entrepreneurial community or opportunities that seem to exist in Charlottesville today. And so I just think that's great, the momentum that I can see taking place here in this environment.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's really exciting. And I guess last question for both of you is why Charlottesville? So like Yunzhe, you could have gone anywhere for the summer, and most students kind of take that opportunity to go explore other places. They're here all school year. So why did you stay, and then why did you stay? Because I know people get married here, but I think there's other markets where that's probably more prominent, and so you chose to stay here, and so why for both of you?
I really love UVA and Charlottesville. It's a great community. It's really vibrant, creative, like the new startup place to be. And I think ultimately, locations does matter, but ultimately it's about the type of people you're working with, and like the people really make the difference. And once I saw Adam and came to the Barnum Blue office, like I knew that this is it. Like this is where I want to work at, and I know it's gonna be like an awesome experience.
Yeah, I would totally agree with Yunzhe to your question. Charlottesville, and it can sound cliche-ish, but it's so true about this community. It is a community. People are invested in each other's success. People want to help other people succeed, and you don't necessarily get that in larger spaces. And here in Charlottesville, we can see the momentum building for entrepreneurship. There's lots of exciting stuff that's already happening here. You guys are doing a great job of helping to surface that and help people realize what's happening, and that's just fantastic. And I love Charlottesville. My wife loves Charlottesville. It's a great place to raise a family, and we really feel a part of a connection to the community. And we've just had the most incredible support from the wedding industry in helping us get the ball rolling and really accelerating our business growth too. So yeah, that's why Charlottesville.